welcome to another episode of DrawBomb. It's the show where we draw and we fucking bomb. I don't know if we've ever come up with a better explanation for that, but that's pretty good.
It's not the first time we made that joke, but it's accurate. It works.
I agree. It's a pretty accurate title, or it's a pretty accurate tagline, I feel like. Sometimes we talk about King of the Hill for 2 hours straight. Sometimes we don't. We have cute kaiju in the chat going, whoa! And you are correct to say whoa, because you're just so impressed by the production value of our amazing stream that we got going on here. It's pretty fucking cool.
Look at it. Do you guys look at it?
You look at it? Do you see it? Uh-oh.
Check it out.
I've got to press a button. I've done something. I've somehow managed
What have you done?
There's a button on the Wacom tablets or the screens where you can press a button on the screen and it will switch the cursor, like the screen that your cursor is on. I believe I've done that just now.
Ian, I thought we agreed that by episode 100, there's no more technical difficulties. We're at episode 97 and the clock is ticking.
This is not a difficulty with the stream. This is a difficulty with me earlier, I guess, having pressed a button of some kind. What is happening? Oh my god. Hold on. I'm just going to restart my tab.
Sounds pretty technical and difficult to me.
It's pretty technical, man. Not going to lie. Seriously, what is happening now?
Anyways, welcome to the show while Ian figures this out.
Got it.
We got
Sorry, go ahead.
Phoenix in the chat, Bell Rocket.
That's correct.
Maddie F. And Cute Kaiju.
Cute Kaiju.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Or first time chatter, not necessarily a first time viewer. We don't know anything about Cute Kaiju. Cute Kaiju, if you would
introduce yourself,
feel free. But either way, we appreciate you being here. We appreciate everybody being here because it's really awkward whenever we're doing this to just like nobody. Hey now, VampFleb13. Yes, we do.
I showered recently, so.
I did too, actually. I actually took a shower.
I
Sorry,
showered in sewage, so.
Oh no! I don't leave the house. There's not much reason to shower, but like trust me, if it's like normal times, like if it was pre-pandemic, I would be showering on the daily. But because I don't like see people, it just feels like a waste of water. So I do it when I start feeling gross.
Yeah.
Is this too much information for people, especially for Cute Kaiju? Probably.
People have been dying to know our bathing habits.
That's true. What sort of shampoo flavors do you use? That's probably in response to what I said.
Mine's supposedly, I think it tastes like Axe, but I don't know what an Axe tastes like. It's supposed to make ladies like me. I don't know. I saw a commercial.
Just getting so spammed with sound alerts, and I love it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I use Axe. It's called I think Ocean Fuck or something like that.
Yeah, Ocean Sex.
And it's supposed to make the ladies
Ocean
go
Fuck's
crazy.
Yeah. Do you remember those first Axe commercials? Like Axe had better commercials as time went on, but do you remember like the first commercials where like the production value was fine, but the joke was like this dude is like literally a magnet for like hundreds of women who were just like stampeding.
Yeah, there's a vivid one I remember of like a crowd of like 1,000 women coming over a hill. The guy sprayed himself with which, because of what Axe is, it ends up being cringe, but it's kind of a funny visual, at least that one.
It's a funny visual, like don't get me wrong, I get the joke, like I'm not like, oh,
you remember it.
It's memorable, it's funny. It's a little sexist though, I feel like, to be like, these women just lose their fucking mind, but I don't know, whatever. I'm often a advocate for.
I think they knew their audience. It's young, BO-ridden.
They didn't learn that their audience was actually people in dorms trying to mask the smell of weed. They hadn't quite realized that was who their target market was yet. But trust me, every dorm room I went into in college, the Axe body spray was not there for deodorant. It was there because they had just smoked weed in the bathroom and they didn't want their like RAs to know.
So it was basically like the scent. Like
A Glade?
Yeah,
Like a Glade
yeah,
plug-in?
people just use like
A deodorizer?
things designed for that aren't made by Axe. You know.
Yeah. If
Crazy
anything,
Kyle says, I hated everyone who thought I can just spray on Axe and not shower. It never worked.
of course not.
Kyle,
Absolutely.
have you tried Ocean Fuck? It gets the job done.
Ocean Fuck gets the job done. Let's put that up on the billboards. Ocean Fuck gets the job done. That's great. That's perfect. Just going off the chat real quick while you're reading it. Maddie F earlier said, I promoted you in another Discord, so I'll take credit for any new viewers. It was all me, and I'm willing to give that to him because that is more promotion than any of us did this week. So Maddie F, thank you for being our advocate when we are not. Cute Kaiju says, oh no, yeah, first time viewer too. Well, thank you so much for joining us and welcome. I hope you have a good time. You just, as you can see, people are spamming things in the chat. You can just bully us and we'll have to like draw through it. But yeah, feel free to bully us. Xenude says,
also, if you'd like to draw yourself, draw along. You
Yeah.
know, we have a Discord that I'll
type that in
pop
real
on the
quick.
link. Yeah, and yeah.
But the buttons don't work on my stream link. They don't.
can do it.
I mean, I'm typing it in. It's all good. It's just
Okay, fine.
I used to have those automatic buttons, and then like OBS did an update, and it was like, that's weird. What the fuck? Anyways, Xenude says, what is a shower? Just kind of going off of that, my previous conversation about showers and what Kyle said, like, yeah, like, deodorant is not a substitute for shower. You can feel when you haven't showered in long enough that you're gross. Like you can feel when your hands need to be washed. Like if you are aware of your body, like you know when like you're like, oh, I should probably wash my hands. I'm a little slimy. Like you should just know, and then you should probably take care of it. But Axe body spray is not going to be is not going to be as good alternative for showering or doing the laundry. It's not good for either. But anyways,
Bilbo Rocket says make quote feature for stream. I'm assuming stream, please.
Oh
but
yeah.
Quote feature, man.
I added that to my streams recently, actually. So like, what it is if somebody types like exclamation point, add quote, they can type in something I've just said on the stream. Usually I don't even think about it. I've said it offhand, and then it adds to a list of quotes. And then somebody can type exclamation point quote, and then it just pulls up a random quote that has been added. So if you say something particularly, yeah, it's been a lot of fun actually on my stream. Like we've got about 20 quotes on it so far, and it's all like every time I see it, I'm like, I guess I did say that. Well, that's in the record now. So that is something we could eventually add to the stream. I think it'd be a lot of fun. It was the click of a button too. Like I found a thread. I clicked a button and it automatically added it to my Nightbot. Very convenient. I'll have to get you a link. But Bell Rocket also says, how long does it take to feel gross? About 3 days. Less for washing hands, but if you haven't showered, by the 3rd day you start to smell yourself and you start to feel gross, and you're probably like, ooh, I should shower.
Depends on your activity.
What was that?
Depends on your activity.
That's true too. Like if you're not, well, I don't do anything. I just sit inside all day, and it takes about 3 days to feel gross. So if you're like a mountain man, and you're like doing some Leonardo DiCaprio from The Revenant type shit, like you're probably gonna feel
twice
gross.
a day?
Yeah, twice a day. So Xenude's comment right afterwards saying Tree Fitty is accurate. It's about like 3 days and a half, 3 days. Belbo Rocka says she will reserve judgment till she knows what our answer is. So I feel like since she's judging, you should answer how long it takes before you start to feel gross.
Yeah, no, I think around the 3 day mark is a solid. So it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad you agree because I was worried I was overshooting it with 3. I was like, maybe I should scale it back to like 2. But 3rd day. On the 3rd day, he showered again.
I typically shower more than that, but I would say that is the cutoff.
Pre-pandemic, it was literally every morning I would shower, like because I would have to go out into polite society, and I just want to smell like pomegranate if I'm going to be out in the world. But since I haven't seen a real person for the past 2 years or so, aside from like very specific weeks, Like, I'm gonna save water. There's not enough water.
You know, you're all the same people seeing each other. You're just creating a stew of smells in the house, and you can't differentiate where they're coming from. Maddie F also has a suggestion. He says, "When are you going to add good hosts to the stream?" That hurt a lot.
That's a great one.
Is that also the click of a button? I don't know.
That is the click of a button. I found a thread for it. We can actually, I have it installed in OBS already. We can replace the hosts. It's gonna take a little bit of prep, but we can get it done.
It says, "I just love being a filthy fuck." You heard of Axe body spray? Crazy Cow says, "But your ass sitting in a chair for even 2 days is nasty." Yeah. I'm not saying you should push it to 3 days every time. I'm just saying that's it's time to make some changes at that point.
Yeah.
Change the way we eat. Crazy Kyle says, "If you have a bidet, I agree, but if not, I'd say every other day max." So, Kyle is just commenting on the fact that you're just covered in fecal matter.
This is true. Like, that's the smell you smell when you haven't showered for a long time. Eventually, you just start to smell your own butt. Is really what it comes down to. Is if you don't shower for a little bit, like, you start to smell something, and you're like, that's the gooch area. That's the taint. That's what I'm smelling right now, because it just wafts upward. Like, you sit down, if you haven't showered in like a while, you sit down, and like there's an air pocket in your pants, and it makes like it blows air, like a breath of air out of your pants and up into your face, and you're just like, whoa, I just got a big whiff of my taint, and you know what, I should shower. That's what it is. That's not even like me being gross or anything. That's what you smell when you don't shower, is you're smelling your fucking ass. So go shower, please, for the love of God, shower. If you're gonna be out in polite society.
Just tuning in, welcome to the DrawBomb stream.
We're giving a message to all the neckbeards. Yeah, it's a show about drawing.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair enough. He says depression says a week and a half is fine. Yeah, you know, depending on your situation, the clock goes forward or backward.
Yeah. There's so many comments. I'm actually still like, I'm higher than you on the comment list, and I'm working my way down. And I scrolled, and I was like, wow. I'm just gonna real quick brush through a lot, if that's okay.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Oof yeah, Q Kaiju says, "Oof yeah, it's painfully obvious whenever anyone goes on an adventure in my dorms, lol." Look, dorms are a different story. You're in a different stage of your life. I was a mess in college, and no one can judge you for being where you're at in college. You're just
I think
like,
they're talking about smoking weed.
oh, well then, hell yeah, dude. That's fucking cool as shit. Hell yeah. I would hang out in your dorms. I loved smoking weed with people in college.
To judge, but it's positive.
Where's lovely Karen? Who's Karen? Is that Karen in person we know? I know Austin's got a girlfriend named Karen.
I know a Karen or two.
Maddie F says there's a specific smell. That smell is your taint. Van Fleb says that's all the time in healthcare. Hand sanitizer or always at the sink. Yeah, so I would hope so. If a doctor ever approaches me and they smell bad, I'm out. I'm like, oh dude, no, this is not good. I'm gonna get a second opinion from somebody who showers. And I think we are now caught up. Al agrees, was your ass sitting in a chair even for 2 days is nasty. That kind of goes along with my taint statement. Blah, blah, blah. That's the thing you agree.
Lovely Karen says hello. Hello, lovely Karen. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, lovely Karen. That's the Karen that was being mentioned before. Hey, I can take credit for lovely Karen, says Matt. Well, be my guest. Go right ahead. And then, I'm sorry, I'm still going
Lovely Karen is their own Karen. They don't need your credit, Matt.
Yeah. Dude, what the hell? Crazy Kyle is advocating for the bidets, and I agree. A bidet. More Americans should have bidets in their toilet. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Anybody in the chat got a bidet?
Yeah, sign off if you got or not sign off. Keep logged into our chat, but say something if you have a bidet. We'd love to know about it. A bidet to use?
I've been on the fence.
You've been on the fence about bidets?
Yeah.
Like legitimately, like is this like a bit, or are you actually like on the fence
No,
about it?
I think not on the fence. Like I think I want one. You can get them pretty easily now.
You can get them pretty easily.
Smart.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, here's the thing. Like a bidet is just the only way to be really clean down there if you're going to the bathroom. Is it. Like you can't, it's like you need hot water to wash a dish. You need water anywhere at all down there to clean up is what it comes down to. I don't know. This is
I consider my butt like a dish, and I want it washed.
yeah. Except minus the butt like a dish is awful. Is a butt a yum?
A butt is a yum. Yeah.
Oh god.
All right, on to our next segment.
Yeah. Let's talk about
Who
anything
here
else.
eats ass. I'm just kidding. Anyways.
Any rim job enthusiasts in the house? Oh boy.
I don't know. I go against the Amazon, the Twitch.
We can talk about it. We can talk about it. We just can't show it.
You just can't show it off. Okay. If you do, you definitely need to own a bidet.
You need to own a bidet if you're gonna moon us. If you're gonna moon somebody, you should. If you're gonna be like a person who pulls their pants down and shows somebody your ass, like even as a prank, you better hope that you clean, because that's a great way to embarrass yourself. Is like,
the joke is now on me and my dirty ass. Wow. How did it come to this?
Exclamation mark, add quote. Now the joke is on me or my dirty ass.
Oh wow, you got one of those mechanical keyboards, huh?
Yeah, it's the loud ass fuck ones that sound like you're hitting your screen with your fingers. What have you been up to this week?
Boy, I've been working a lot this week. A lot of commissions, things of that nature.
Very cool.
I have one that's like kind of like an ad for a company. I had a portrait, and then I also have like a logo I'm working on with somebody.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. I also this weekend went home and saw some friends that I haven't seen in a while, so that was really nice too.
Nice. How's does it feel to be making a logo?
It's not my favorite thing to do, but I've done it a few times.
I mostly just asked because I've been asked to do logo work before, and I almost always turn it down because it's just
definitely talk it over with them before I say yes or no, and make sure like they know what I'm able to do.
Okay.
You know,
good.
Kind of get an idea of what they're looking for.
I mean, you did the logo for Waterlogged. You've done logos, like you did a lot of the imagery for DrawBomb, so it's not like it's out of your wheelhouse. I would say you do a pretty good job with like iconography.
Who we got?
Lovely Karen is our new best friend. They just followed us. Thank you so much, Lovely Karen. Much appreciated.
Thanks for you becoming our new best friend despite that whole
oh my god. We have so many conversations, and when I say we, I mean I start so many conversations that are just regrettable in this show.
About here, not having regrets.
Right. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that it was worth it.
That remains to be seen.
Yeah. The jury's still been out on that, and we're almost at 100 episodes, so, you know.
Episode 100 will have everybody vote. Was this worth it?
Yeah, that's a great idea. The money you gave us, the time spent that you can never get back. On a scale of 1 to 10, a waste? Feel free to answer. It's anonymous. No one's gonna know your name. Oh, I should keep pressing the wrong buttons.
How's your week been?
Oh, I really can't complain. I've just been working I literally don't leave the house. I just work. Doing a lot of that. Been doing a lot of like hanging out on Twitch streams, talking to folks. And that's about it. Nothing goes on in my life. It's all working, being on the computer.
A lot of people would prefer to work remotely.
Yeah, I definitely. I'm happy that I don't put my life at risk every time I go to work.
I have a job that requires me to go there, and I wish.
I wish you didn't either. I worry for you.
I just live a dangerous lifestyle.
You're just a scoundrel.
That's me.
You're a roguish bastard.
Hurt my feelings.
I'm sorry. Have you been playing any games lately? Have you watched any movies?
Wow. I wasn't expecting that question.
I know, we never asked that.
I've been playing the new Pokemon.
Oh yeah, how is that?
It's pretty good. It's better than like anything else they've made in like 10 or 15 years. But
it's pretty good.
It's Pokemon, you know, you catch them all and so on.
You gotta
do it.
You know,
no one's ever stopped to ask why, but you gotta catch them all.
You're obligated. You know, Brian David Gilbert once said, "What's the point of catching them all if you can't keep the ones that you love?" You know. Do you have your favorite Pokemon still in your Pokédex?
Like, did I let it go?
I don't know. Did you like evolve it and it became ugly? I don't know.
Yeah, and then I left it out in the wilderness, and I said, I'll be right back.
I've only ever played one Pokemon game. I have it for my 3DS right over there. It's got a big whale lord on the cover of it. Only Pokemon game I've ever played. My starter Pokemon was a Torchic, and I loved that Pokemon because Torchics are super cute. And I was like, oh my god, I love my little Firebird. And then it had the chance to evolve, and I just, without thinking, I was like, okay. And I evolved my Torchic, and it turned into this big, ugly karate bird, and I just stopped
like
playing.
A chicken.
Yeah, I stopped playing. I was like, I don't fucking like this guy anymore.
Real quick, Elbow Rocket says if we punch Brandon or Ian, who's punching? I don't know if that's working at the moment.
We don't have it working yet. We have to get mixed up.
I thought I took the buttons off for the time being, but apparently not.
We have to sit down at some point and really, because I did actually sit down with the Mix It Up software, and it looks pretty intuitive.
Yeah.
The main thing is like we just have to make assets for the Mix It Up to use. Like on my personal stream, I have a redemption for doing push-ups to make me do push-ups. And I want to make a video where it's like a song comes in, and it's like Ian's gotta do 25 push-ups. I just have to make it
pretty easily.
Yeah, very easily. I put in a placeholder video in the meantime just to see if it worked, and it did. It works perfectly. So like, I mean, it's not active anymore because that was just a test. But it is really just a matter of we have to make the stuff, and then we can just like pop it in and like really beef up any of our channel points. It'd be pretty great.
Cool. We'll do that. But until then, if you redeem it, we'll just have, at my place, we'll have Morgan come punch me in the face, and at your place, we can have your dad come punch you in the face.
Yeah, there's like a fist that'll come up from off screen and it'll be, oh, hey, not now. Look, it's, I was talking about you. You don't, no, just.
Does your dad watch the show from 1 foot off the screen?
He's just always there, standing like his arms crossed. He's just like talking about your taint.
Are you winning, son?
No, Dad, I'm very much not winning at life or on cards or anything.
Life or in cards.
Talking about the state of my taint for free.
Not for well, you know.
Yeah, it's free. So you've been liking the new Pokemon, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's pretty good. If you're a fan of Pokemon, you'll like it. If you're not a fan of Pokemon, you won't, because they're still pretty. They tend to still like half-ass things a lot for a company that's like. I think I read somewhere they're like, Yeah, they're like one of the most profitable like video game companies, and they're just still like kind of half-assing it.
Well, they're so profitable because they half-ass it, don't you know?
I think that's probably part of it, to be honest. But yeah, so I don't know.
But you're having fun at least. That's what you're saying.
I'm enjoying it.
More so than the previous Pokemon titles of the past 15 years or so.
That might be an exaggeration, but yeah, I'd say so. They haven't really changed the equation. They've changed the formula like twice in minor ways since like the original. That's about it. So.
This is the first time they've actually like made anything substantially different.
Mixed it up.
Is it substantially different, or is it pretty much still the same thing?
It's the same in ways that it should be the same, but it's pretty substantially different overall.
Okay, that's what I mean. That's the thing is like if I were like I said, I've only played one Pokemon game and not even all the way through. So oh shit, Bell Rocket did just redeem to have us punched, so can't say no. But ow, fuck. Oh. It's your turn. Ow.
We just gotta punch ourselves. Is that what we're doing?
I thought you said Morgan. My dad punched me from off screen.
Oh,
it
that
was
was
totally
your,
apparent.
It
was totally clear that was what happened.
Your body.
Like the arm came and it was. Whoa! Morgan gave you an uppercut.
Alright, there you go.
If only we had instant replay. I would instant replay all of that, but
production value is great.
Do it in slow motion real quick.
I don't know. Okay. That looked good. Looked real.
Yeah, no, it looks so good. And then this
looked really real.
This is the instant replay for me. Is that good?
That was great. Let's see that one more time. Hit the replay.
One more time. Okay.
There you go, folks. There you go.
Oh man, I actually worked up a sweat doing that. It's not entirely unlike doing something physical, fake punching yourself, even in slow motion.
That's my workout. I just punch myself in the head over and over.
Yeah, I'd like do everything, but I'd do it
so
slow motion as a workout, because it's like you're supposed to lift weights slowly, because then your deeper muscles get that workout instead of like doing fast, because that's just closer to cardio than it is like weightlifting. Same thing, I do my whole workout in slow motion.
I mean, I think that actually would be much harder.
Yeah, it would be, yeah. I don't know if you ever done like, you know, when we did those push-ups, you know, there's a difference between doing like a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then doing like a 1, 2. Yeah. There's a difference, substantial difference.
Momentum helps a little bit.
It does. Turn our volumes up a little bit. We might be a little quiet. Hello? Hello? I made us much louder. We're probably much louder now, folks. Surprise! Probably too loud, actually. When I yelled surprise like that, I peaked that audio.
You peaked at the audio?
I peeked at it. It was pretty good.
What did it look like?
It's pretty solid.
Alright.
Alright, Rooney. Did you watch any movies? Has anything else touched your life?
No other pop culture of any kind as of late. How about you?
Well, I did a couple things. I played a game that's on Game Pass called Unpacking recently.
Oh yeah, I started that. I have not finished it, but I like what I've played so far.
Yeah, it was quick. I 100%ed it. Like, I got all the achievements and I beat the whole game in like 4.5 hours. It was really quick and easy. It's cute though.
Would. I was playing it and I was like, I think this is something Morgan would like. Whenever, I'm still trying to like convince her to play video games, so I'm like, here's one. Like, I'm trying to work, trying to do shit.
Trying to get her onto your hobby.
So I'm like, how about virtual unpacking?
It's surprising, like, for a game that's about something I've done about 10 times in the last 8 years, and I've hated every single time. For a game, it's very relaxing and enjoyable. I think it's a clever game. So for folks who are not aware of every game that's ever come out, Unpacking is a game where you play as you start out as a kid, and then you unpack your room that you're moving into, and then as the game continues, you like kind of follow. It's every time you're the same person, so you're just sort of following them through life as they like live out their life, and you learn about who they are and what they're doing and what stages of their life they're in through their unpacking. And so that's the game. There's about 8 levels. And it's interesting because you do learn a lot about the characters through what you unpack for them, and or specifically
life events and things like that.
Yeah, so like as a kid, you're like, oh, this person likes drawing. They like doodling. They have like, because like over the course of the game, it's not like spoiler territory. It's just like a cute story, but like you learn like, oh, they're in art school or they're going to college or some kind, because like they have a whole bunch of like anatomy drawing books. They have like a desk eventually that they do their work on. You see like you just sort of like see their life progress specifically through their items, which is surprising, and it's interesting because it's like world building and it's story building with no dialogue whatsoever and without ever seeing anybody on the screen. And it's surprising how effective it is. Like I pretty much got a sense of the whole person's life and like even the characters who they live with. Like
yeah, that's a big part of it, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
And this is gonna sound weird, but I predicted sort of where the story was gonna go within the second room of the game. I predicted the rest of the game. I mean, do you care about if I say like what happens? It's not like a deep story or anything. It's just a person's life. I guess you.
First up, I haven't finished it yet myself.
Yeah, you haven't finished it. Yeah, I shouldn't tell you. It's nothing like you're never like, oh my god, that happened. It's always just like, right. Oh, okay, cool. This is the next stage of their life. But how far did you get? Like, what's the last stage? Just so I know.
I think they're in a house now.
They're in like.
It's like a full house with like floors and everything, and
like multiple floors. Are they with like a person? Or are they like dating?
I believe they're with a person.
Is there like a room for an extra addition to the family? I'm just trying to find out.
No, not yet.
Okay. Is it?
Things are being unpacked.
Oh no shit! Crazy.
Yeah, there's things to unpack. It's all happening. You mentioned that you hate it. You hate doing this in real life, but I will say I don't hate the unpacking so much. I hate the packing and moving.
I hate both.
I can live with the unpacking.
I hate both.
I like organizing it for the first time again and getting everything like, the longer you live in a place, I feel like the more your messes build, or at least for me,
it becomes
start over fresh and have like,
when you it's a clean slate.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I'm a person who's very. This is going to be weird about me, and it doesn't make sense, but I've noticed that this is an aspect of me, but I'm very into feng shui, and not like, a lot of people are like, feng shui is like when you put your items in a certain direction, like the spirits guide your house, and you fucking have good luck, and it's like, no, feng shui is literally like the layout of your house determines how effective your house is going to be. So like if your shit's in a fucking terrible place, you're gonna have a shitty house because your stuff is not arranged in a way that's conducive to your lifestyle. And for me, I was living in an apartment in South Philly for like 4 years. It's the longest house I've lived in on my own.
How long was the house?
How long was the house? Oh, you know, it was like it was about 250 feet back, I want to say.
That is a long house. You're right.
That is a long house, yeah. But it was that's not the size of it. Actually, 250 feet's way huge. Maybe, I don't know.
Who knows?
My house was about as far back as my room is, like living room, kitchen, bathroom, and then there's an upper floor. Anyways, the point is, I know you weren't asking that literally, but I rearranged all of the furniture in that living room twice a year, with the help of my roommates after the first couple times I did it.
That's nice that you ran it by them, because that's a very annoying thing. If
yeah, oh yeah. I 100% asked every time. I mean, I was still annoying about it because I was just like, guys, we would have so much more space if we put the TV over here. We rearranged that living room literally twice a year till I moved out, and every time it got a little bit better each time, but every time I still felt like something wasn't quite right, and it like bothered me that I wasn't efficient in the room 100%. And like that game, the unpacking game, I would keep rearranging everything because I was just like, no, but wait, the bath mat would be better here. Because I just kept...
definitely did it in that game.
Yeah. But it is relaxing. I mean, as much as my inner neuroses wanted to take over, I still had a lot of fun with the game. And it was cool. Again, it's very interesting how effectively you can learn about a character strictly through set design. And I think that's why set design is also very important.
It's pretty cute, and it's a unique game. I've never played something like that specifically, so that's quite a compliment right there, I feel like.
Yeah. And so I'll just say what I was gonna say before, but like without spoiling anything. Your character's life journey, by the end of the game, you're like a certain, like, you know, you have like whatever, but like your character does end up in a relationship, as a lot of people do when they get older. And I will say, I sort of predicted the relationship because I knew it was an art game. Like, it's a game that's meant to be artistic, like it's telling a story. It's not about like shooting people, it's about like learn about this person.
Until you unpack that one box that has a gun at the bottom of it. That's
yeah, exactly. And you're like, what the fuck is this doing here? That would be crazy. That would have been a way cooler game.
Funny.
Been a very different game. That would be cool if you would like discovered them. I had an idea for a game where it's sort of like unpacking, but you're like rearranging somebody's basement and like moving boxes around, and then you like find out that they were like part of like a murder, and like then you would like sort of like the idea was you do odd jobs for these different houses in this neighborhood, and you find out slowly that the entire neighborhood was like involved on this murder, essentially like this conspiracy. It was gonna be like a horror game, but like I also don't know how to make video games, so that's never happening. But if unpacking, you pulled out a gun all of a sudden from one of the boxes, that was basically the concept of the game that I was thinking of. But yeah, because it's an art game, because I knew that like it's a game meant to, like, you know, video games are sort of having this moment, especially in the last 5 years, maybe a little bit longer than that, where like certain developers, especially indie devs, are definitely like thinking like, hey, we can do so much with storytelling through video games. And you really can. You can do so much through video games and storytelling like that you can't do with a movie or even a book. And so it's interesting, it's intriguing that people are finally exploring not just like the different ways you can shoot a guy's head off, but the different ways that you can tell a story with the medium of games and like the interactivity of it. That, you know, it's sort of like there's a lot of games that are coming out that are purely artistic, and like it's made to be art. It's made to be a statement, and Unpacking is definitely one of those games, I feel like, where it's like, and they're not saying like, oh, we're an art statement, but it's not like a game where you play it for the gameplay. It's a game you play it because of the experience or the story, you know, the things. So like knowing that was the type of game it was, I was playing the game, and then I was just like, oh, this person's probably going to end up with this sort of person. And I was completely right. I guessed it second level. Which I don't know if that says something about this. I could go more into it, but again, I don't want to say anything.
So here's what I think.
Okay, go ahead.
I think you should start a business where you go into people's houses, look at their shit, and then predict their future. Because if you really have that ability...
Well, the thing is, I
walk
only...
through the house, like, homeless.
It had... Homeless.
You will lose everything based on what you have here.
Don't get attached to any of this.
The bank is going to take all of it.
Yeah. But, you know, that's just going off of conventions of the genre. Like, I saw...
No, I know.
Yeah. I saw an episode of Ugly Betty once. Not I saw an episode, I mean, I walked into a room and my parents were watching an episode of Ugly Betty. And, like, the camera was, like, showing a character on a couch, and it was, like, at a certain angle. And I was, like... Having seen nothing else of the show before, and not even knowing it was Ugly Betty till the commercials happened, I was like, that guy's gonna get a knock on the door, he's gonna answer it, and somebody's gonna pull a gun on him. And that literally happened in the next, like, 10 seconds. And I was like, what is this?
You walk into the room during a episode of Ugly Betty, and after watching 3 minutes of it, you predicted the series finale.
I predicted the end of the show. I got everything. I knew what was gonna... Did you know that Betty... That bitch is ugly. No. Sorry.
The title spoiled it for me.
Yeah, the title really gives it all away.
CNews says, anyone ever think about going to a hoarder's house just to look for stuff to steal? Not like it would be missed.
I don't even know how to answer.
Although Rocket says, fuck no, they're dirty. And yeah, that's kind of what I was going to say. Like, I don't think you're going to... I don't know what you visualize a hoarder's house to look like, but yeah. I mean, unless you're looking to steal piles of newspaper, then maybe, yes, that'd be a great idea.
Going to a hoarder's house, yeah, it's like you go in, and you're not going to be like, oh wow, look at all these mint condition action figures on this wall. You're going to walk in, and you're going to be like, oh, that's my collection of dead birds. Don't get rid of them, though. I might need them for later. And it's like... No.
If you break into a hoarder's house, they won't even know you're there. You can just hang out, and... You build a den inside a pile of old takeout containers.
Just make a scoop.
Find you.
Do you know anyone who's a hoarder?
Or
who you suspect of being a hoarder, I guess? You know, do you want to put it on blast?
Yeah. I don't want to put them on blast. But
okay, that's fair. That's 100% fair. Is it like a thing where like they are maybe aware that they're, or do you just sort of like... amongst your friends, you're just kind of like, wow, I think Jay's a hoarder.
I think they're aware.
Okay, interesting. How on a scale of 1 to 10, like 1 being not a hoarder, 10 being the shit you see on the TV show?
It's hard to say. They're not like the TV show level.
Okay.
They have some stuff, and it's not working.
Does their name start with a vowel? No, I know. I'm just fucking with you now. What if you'd answered that question? I'd be like, no, stop.
Don't take the bait. I was joking.
Yeah.
But I know somebody who struggles with that stuff.
Do you ever notice like hoarder tendencies in yourself?
Yes and no. When I say yes, it's only in like the way that like somebody has no idea what the actual sickness is like, but I'm so OCD. Like,
I'm
so
such a
sometimes
hoarder.
I'm like, yeah, I collect too much shit that I don't need, but it's not real. Like every time I move, I end up throwing away like half my stuff. Like it's definitely not a hoarder.
You throw away things that spark joy. Or you throw away the things that don't spark joy, I guess is...
Well, I go through my stuff and I'm like, I don't need this. I've never used this.
Yeah.
In the trash. I giant bags of, trash to throw away after every time. So, no, I would say I'm probably not. But I do like stuff and like collecting weird, stupid things.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. It's still, it sparks... The stuff that I collect, even if it's dumb, it's like funny or interesting to me or something like that,
Right. You don't ever hold on to something because you're worried, like, oh, I might need that. Like, I might need that newspaper from the 1970s.
No, not to that level. I think everybody does it to some small degree.
Too.
There's things they like that they think they might need, even if they don't. But overall, no. And I would definitely say it's not like a sickness.
Okay.
I think I like to collect things in some ways, but other than that,
yeah, I've seen your shelves.
No.
But yeah. I don't like I've seen your shelves, but I don't consider it like hoarder-esque. I consider it
it's like
it's a lot of
like set up in a specific way, and there's like the shelves are dusted and like
And the items there are of actual somebody who would see that would be like, oh, that's a cool thing to have. It's not like
that's
what
why
are all these
things that I think are interesting, and I just want to like show them off.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I think it's a good way to give your home. It's a good way to give your home some character that besides like going to Target and grabbing the same stuff that everyone else has. I like to fill my home with interesting things.
If somebody is ever a floating cursor and they're going through your possessions, they'll get a good sense of the type of person you are before they start unpacking all your cardboard boxes.
Yeah, then they can predict the end of my life.
Yeah, exactly.
Buried in stupid shit.
Yeah, that's Brandon, always buried in his stupid shit. I think I'm not a hoarder, but I definitely have a lot of shit. But I have like 3 computer towers behind me, but it's not like I'm holding on to them because I'm worried I'm gonna need them later. It just feels weird to throw a whole computer in like a dumpster, and I feel like I could sell like the individual parts on eBay, and maybe somebody else could make better use of all this like scrap metal in my room. But it doesn't make, and like I have like a box of like electronics and like some things in there. It's like nigh hoarderish in my closet.
I was gonna say some of the things you're saying are like how it starts.
It is how it starts,
and then
you just never do.
Not gonna happen, and the more stuff you have, the harder it is to actually sell it.
It's true. Well, because it's like I look at those computer towers, and I'm like, it would cost so much money to ship those things whole, so I have to take them apart, like piece by piece, essentially, and that's like a fucking and like it's not. So, like, for me, it's not like a matter of I'm a hoarder. It's a matter of I'm lazy, and it's turning me into a bit of a hoarder, I guess.
Yeah, that's a more common version of the hoarder, I think.
I'm an eco-hoarder, my hoarding reasons are because I don't feel like filling a landfill up with a bunch of junk if I can, Like, it's like some of these items...
You want to turn your home into the landfill.
My home is the landfill currently. Or eBay will eventually be that landfill, and then somebody else can have all this junk, I guess. I don't know. I really should I should go through my closet, but it also feels like such an insurmountable task. But it's kind of like what we talked about
I did that recently, and it was a big job.
Yeah.
But done, and it feels great.
I bet. I want to do it.
My closet is kind of out of the way and big, so I just was able to just stuff things in there that I didn't want to deal with. Nice. So it became a giant mess. But now, clean.
Nice.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Let's see here. In the chat, we're talking about hoarding. Bell Rocket says, imagine opening a box and instead of a gun, you find a 5-year-old sandwich.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's a hoarder.
I might need the sandwich later. I don't usually pack my food into like boxes full of stuff.
No, God, no. If I see a sandwich that's even like, I don't know how old that sandwich is, I'm not putting it. I'm very picky about when I
It's rare that I make a sandwich and then like set it aside.
Yeah.
Usually they're made with the intention of being eaten then.
Pretty much right away.
Xenu says, I mean, they probably have a TV or two, just need to clean the cat corpses out from them. The cockroaches and all that. Sure, you'll dig them out. I don't think they have anything you'd want, usually, if it's like that level of hoarding.
Yeah, absolutely. All that stuff at that point is like contaminated. With,
ruined by this, yeah. It's like, keep it next to the pile of Mountain Dew bottles filled with piss that I saved, just in case I need it. Double Rock says, I don't care what they say, there's no way you're taking out the trash or dusting if your house is full of garbage. Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I don't think they claim that they're taking out the trash because the trash is being collected along with everything else.
Yeah.
Let's see. Z-Unit says, wait, what about the storage units people go through? What if you open one up and find loads of bodies? Well, then you get arrested because you now own them.
Yeah, you're the owner of those corpses.
You you bid on it and won, that you own them and you go to prison. Velvet Rocket says they'd use it to dispose of more. Yeah, I mean, it's already a corpse unit, so might as well just, keep it going.
Yeah, might as well make use of it. It's like, at first when Dexter had all of his, like, slides of people's blood in his, like, behind his little air conditioning unit thing, at first it just started as a fun little quirk, but, then it became a compulsion, and, then, like, when the police were in on him because they thought he was the Bay Harbor Butcher, he had to, like, get rid of it, and, like, that was, like, him getting rid of the items that don't spark joy in his life,
He was hoarding them.
He was hoarding
them. Now
them.
the chat is debating cannibalism. So
oh, okay. How did we get there?
That's the point we've reached now. I don't know.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, the places you'll go.
There's an Andrew Jackson Jihad album that's the title of the album is People Who Can Eat People Are the Luckiest of Them All, I think is the name of the album title. Have you ever listened to the Andrew Jackson Jihad?
I don't think so.
They're an interesting band, to be sure. It's like very folksy, sort of like almost like minstrel music, but like it's like folk, like fast folk, how that sounds? But it's about like the most depressing stuff the guy can think of, pretty much.
Is your camera still looking good on your end? Because for me...
no, yours looked frozen.
You look... I don't know.
This is a Brandon mic check. 1 2 1 2. This is an Ian mic check. 2 3 2 3.
Hello.
Hello.
On the stream, it looks like I'm still there.
Okay. Lettuce, just a whole head of lettuce. You fry anything, I'll eat it. Oh, they're just talking amongst themselves now at that point. Okay, whatever.
Can you fry a head of lettuce? I feel like someone on YouTube.
I don't think so.
It's
here's the thing.
Water.
Yeah, it's mostly
Probably
water.
Would explode. It might be like a bomb if you put it in oil.
We've tried to me and some buddies have tried to fry things in the past, and not everything can be you can fry a lot of things, but not everything can be fried because just the nature, the chemical composition of it just won't let it.
You probably have to bread the lettuce to fry it.
Yeah. And will the lettuce retain the bread? Are you gonna cover that lettuce in panko and egg yolks? What is your plan at that point?
You almost probably need to wrap it in a puff pastry or something if it's going to hang on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the hardest. I don't know. That's the hardest part about frying food. I've made fried chicken before in my life. I've made fried pork, and you can do it. It's just getting the breadcrumbs to stay on that piece of meat after you dip it in the meat, or after you dip it in the breadcrumbs, after you put it in the boiling vat of oil, and then after you pull it out, that shit could slip off. It's like the cheese on a slice of pizza. It could slip off at any moment, and then you're just left with a gross ass slice of bread with tomato sauce on it.
People fry shit all the time, so someone has to have it down. But when I try to fry things, a lot of times the batter is falling off and stuff. So it's really not a skilled or a seasoned fryer.
I've done it once, and I don't even have a fryer. I just literally had a pot that I filled with vegetable oil, and then I put the shit in there, and it worked out perfectly. It was very aside from it needed some seasoning, some salt, it was perfectly fried chicken. It's the first time I've ever done it. Last time I ever did it properly.
Yeah, I've done it good sometimes, but I've also failed. I'm just not enough of a frequent fryer.
Hold on.
Did you guys hear my joke? Did you guys hear it?
That was me. I did that one.
I know.
Still waiting on Ian's deviled eggs. That's true. I did promise the family deviled eggs when I first moved in 2 years ago, and I just still haven't made them yet.
They're so easy.
I know. Well, it's not a matter of I just haven't done it.
They're so easy, Ian.
I know. I love deviled eggs, and I love making them.
You just take the eggs and you devil them. Voila.
By the devil. This is looking pretty good, this drawing right here.
Are we done?
I think we good.
Alright.
Wait, before you say one last thing. We're
call
good.
them those gilples.
That's right. We watched Baby's Day Out recently. That was a thing.
Yeah. You mentioned that right before we went on the air, but I do want to talk about that.
Yeah, please do.
So, Baby's Day Out, for people who aren't familiar in the chat, it's a movie about, it's like Home Alone, except it takes place across the whole city. There's 3 criminals trying to kidnap a baby from, it's got like rich parents and I don't know, whatever.
They don't give a shit too much.
They want a ransom. Basically, they kidnap the kid, and then the kid just like wanders off, and they keep chasing after it and getting into shenanigans. They get lit on fire, beat up by a gorilla. They're like walking across a construction site, kind of like this drawing.
Yeah. This drawing is Baby's Day Out is why we did this drawing.
And the baby straight up like Mr. Magoo's his way around town. He's just like out to like get hit by like a truck tire and then like misses it narrowly, or like he falls off of something and lands on something soft. He's just like, luck is with this baby.
Luck and also like terrible eyesight. It's like in like stealth games, you'll hide from a guard and like the guard will be like right there looking just like at you but past you, and they'll be like, huh, what was that noise? And then they'll walk away. And the entirety of Baby's Day Out is like, this baby is like there, the person's looking at the baby, and then just because the movie has to happen, they don't see the baby, and like the baby can, like everyone in the city knows that the baby is missing, and like only the villains ever are able to see it. The baby's got like an invisibility spell on everybody else. There's like a scene where a reporter like drops her microphone, and then she reaches down to grab the microphone, and and she's giving a report on the baby actively, like about the baby, and then the cameraman follows her as she goes down to pick up the microphone. She's too busy looking at the camera, feeling around on the ground. The baby's right there. She grabs the microphone. They both stand back up, and like she's back to doing a report. The cameraman saw the baby. She basically touched the baby's leg, but she was like, oh, here's my microphone, and she like goes.
What kind of operation they run in here?
I don't know.
Just dropping the microphone on a live like camera feed, like it's amateur. It's amateur shit.
Hour. That's not the shit that's gonna get you
the home and the
anchor position
and all that. Anyways, I haven't seen it since I was a kid, but when I was a kid, I liked it a lot. I like watched it over and over. I remember that. I remember like pop the VHS in, rewind it, watch it again, type thing.
Did you like as a kid? Did none of it ever bother you that nobody could ever see this fucking kid? Like they were all just like.
No, none of that. Like I wasn't thinking about that. I wasn't thinking about the logistics or the believability. I was a baby myself in some ways, yeah, so I didn't care about any of that. But what'd you think of it? When was the last time you saw it? First off,
never. I've only ever seen like Red. Yeah. I've seen the Red Letter Media review of it a couple times, but I never expected I would end up ever actually watching it. And then we were doing a bad movie night, and then a friend of ours was like, we should watch the new Home Alone movie because it's probably bad. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, let's do it. And then everyone except for me collectively decided at once, like, this is probably just going to be bad and not in like a fun way. Let's find something bad in a fun way. So I picked Baby's Day Out because it's the closest thing I think you can get to a Home Alone movie without quite being a Home Alone movie. And I think it went well. I think it was a bad movie, and I think we all enjoyed ourselves just talking shit on this movie the whole time, or making jokes. But it's a bad movie. It's frustrating how dumb every adult is in this movie, just so that they have more excuses for this baby to go traipsing around the city going like, ooh, gaga, oh boy.
I wish the kidnappers would have been smarter.
I wish the kidnappers were more dead, because the kidnappers die like 8 times throughout the movie, but because of cartoon, like they literally all of them falls off of a building at one point or another. That
Home Alone, those guys would have had their heads caved in like 10 times.
Worse, the guys in Home Alone, they would have died and it would have sucked for them, but like this, like these bad guys would have been like pulverized. Like they get like ripped to shreds by like a gorilla who would have like taken their face off and has taken faces off before. These guys are just like, oh, I've fallen off of a whole building onto the ground, and then they just get up and they're like, oh, my back. And it's like, no, you're fucking dead. You just fell off of a building.
Are you excited for the sequel? Baby goes to Japan or whatever.
China. It's China. I love. That's a great sign for a movie is when they're already setting up a sequel, and like the first one's just come out. Like, we talked about this before, and I think Shiny Doggy was making jokes, but talk about presumptuous. Oh, by the way, Extra Tech RPG has joined us in the chat. They said it's the Draw Boys, and they've also redeemed Hydrate. So get yourself a fancy cup of water.
I have a bottle right here.
Filled up on water before the show too.
If you kidnap a baby, you shouldn't. You shouldn't kidnap a baby. But if you kidnap a baby, just put it in like a cat carrier or something, right? So that it can't go
something
running around the city having a date, have a great time while you're getting your head caved in by a gorilla. You know?
Yeah.
That's what I suggest. I picture like somebody like kidnapping a kid and being like, "You guys, you've seen Baby's Day Out, right? Like, you gotta be smarter."
So you using that movie as a blueprint?
Yeah, we can't make the same mistakes.
Yo, do we find out this kid's favorite baby book so we know this kid's not gonna try and crawl to the same locations? That's another plot point of the movie, by the way, is the baby has a favorite book. All of the places it ends up going are places in the book, which, by the way, the baby is like randomly on a bus. This baby doesn't know, like, they make it seem like it's intentional that the baby's going to these places, but nothing at any point in the movie, this baby couldn't possibly have intentionally gone to the zoo. The baby took a bus by accident after like getting thrown off of like a chute into the bus, ended up in a woman's bag. The woman just happened to walk past the zoo, and the baby crosses. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. So, anyways, these hypothetical criminals we're talking about right now, they have to know this baby's favorite book.
Babies typically don't have a good sense of direction, in my experience.
No, babies are
dumb. They don't have object permanence. You cover up your face, they think you're drawing. They cannot navigate the city. It's not within their abilities.
I would love, like, you know, Rugrats.
All babies here, but
yeah, you know Rugrats.
I'm familiar.
First of all, they're making new episodes, but it's in 3D and it looks terrible. But anyways,
I saw some screenshots.
It looks pretty gross. But I will say I would love for a show where it's like sort of doing the same thing that Rugrats does, where it's like a baby's perspective, but it's like more metaphorical. Like, you know that show Man Seeking Woman?
Yeah.
Where how like they'd use these cartoonish like Looney Tunes physics in the show to sort of metaphorically talk about relationship aspects, and I thought it was really clever. Actually, I really liked that show, but like they would like, so like, you know, he breaks up with his ex-girlfriend. The first person she dates is literally like Hitler, because you always end up hating the first person your ex dates after you. So he literally, like, it takes all these sort of, you get it. Point is, I would love for a TV show like that, but doing like shit that a baby thinks. So like these babies are all at a funeral, and it's like the eulogy. Well, last thing I remember about my dad, he said peekaboo, and then he covered his hands up with his face. It's the last time I ever saw him. I'm just sort of doing that, but like, you know, taking these. I think there's probably a lot you could probably do with that, although I would not want to write that. I think it would be a lot of fun.
Get Ian on the Rugrats reboot.
Yeah. We're making gritty Rugrats.
In the chat, Cute Kaiju says, as long as the baby's around, nothing could kill those kidnappers. Maybe the baby has some supernatural qualities that aren't addressed.
That'd be an interesting movie. You can't die in the presence of the baby.
Yeah.
The forever baby.
I believe. And the baby just wanders into like a drinking hall, and the old guys are a baby, yay! And they're all like hanging out.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's a veterans home, like a living home for like senior veterans. Which is, by the way, the final destination in the baby's book. So again, it's like the baby intentionally went there, but everything leading up to that point says that the baby got there completely by accident. And then like when the nanny's like, oh my gosh, the baby's going to the veterans center. And it's like, what the fuck? But then they arrive to rescue the baby finally, and everyone, like the baby's sitting on a table, and all of the veterans in the building are just standing around it singing a song at it. And it's like a fucking cult. Like they're about to like sacrifice this baby, it sort of looks like. Yeah. It's so goofy.
Double Rocket says, woman doesn't notice her bag is suddenly 15 pounds heavier. Exactly. And also, like, just imagine you open your bag and there's 8 full-grown infant. This isn't like this is a large baby. This baby's about ready to start walking. Like, this is a large, sick baby. And
this is a large baby.
You open up your bag and there it is. What do you do? What do you do?
You take the baby in as your own.
You get off the bus.
You name him Moses.
That's true. That's what happened.
That's what happened to Moses. His brother Aaron. I don't know how the fuck he has a brother when he's already. I guess the parents who rescued him had their own kid. I guess, and that's his brother Aaron in the Bible. Is that how that goes? Did they ever say?
He straight up has a brother who is like an Egyptian.
Yeah.
And, becomes powerful.
A dick.
Yeah.
On. Well,
but I think his adopted brother. He has like a.
Yeah. Once Moses goes up on Mount Sinai and starts carving the tablets for the 10 Commandments, there's a power vacuum that his brother immediately fills up. He makes a golden calf for everyone who worships. Moses comes down from the mountain after like 3 years. No, he fucking kills everybody. Doesn't he?
He makes them melt down their golden calf.
Oh, yeah. He makes them, like
it's probably killed some people, honestly. So maybe you're right. We're both right.
Oh, I just remember, like, I used to go to Sunday school.
Digest gold very well.
No, well, he definitely made them melt the cow down, but I remember, like, then he just slaughtered everyone who like worshipped the cow, like he and everyone who didn't worship the cow. True. I'm pretty sure that's how it happened. I remember, like, learning about it in Sunday school.
Bible enthusiasts in the chat, let us know. But I don't think so. I think he shames them a lot. I don't know if he murders everybody. Maybe he does. There's a lot of murder in the Bible. Moses is like, his attitude gets him in lots of trouble.
It sure does. Oh yeah, the massacre of the calf worshippers. I just googled it.
After he just got a stone that says "Thou shalt not murder,"
yeah,
walks down the hill and murders.
Surrounded by men and women of all ages, dancing, prostrating. I don't think this is exactly from the Bible, but he does melt it down. He makes it get ground up into a powder, makes them drink it.
That's pretty metal, like, and I don't mean that as a pun because he's making them drink liquid metal, but it's like, drink your fucking god.
Yeah,
they're worshiping this thing.
Pretty hardcore. Let's see. I'm just still like looking at this answer.
Then they wander around the desert for 40 years. They eventually like are almost out, and then there's like a rock that's supposed to give them water. God said, and Moses is supposed to like tap it with a rock, but he's like pissed off and he like bangs the rock too hard, and God's like, "Fuck you! You have to walk another 10 years."
Yeah, like basically like God's like, you have to hit this thing, and then you have to say a prayer to me, and then I'll make shit happen. And then Moses does like something else and says, "I did this," and then the water happens, and then God's like, "Fuck you, dude, go wander for 40 years." We all, as you can see, we all grew up religious, even though we don't. None of us follow that shit anymore.
But Moses out there acting like a normal person, like getting frustrated and like pissed off at God's wishy-washiness.
Yeah, God's very like, I don't know. Please worship me.
He's vapid. You know.
Yeah. I'm looking. God gave everyone who worshipped the calf a plague.
I like to think God was a teenager during those years.
He was, yeah. I wrote a thesis in college where we had just read the book of Job for a college class because we were talking not about the religious implications of the book, but about the writing and the poetry of it and like what the book is trying to say. And we had to like write an essay on it. And so I wrote like an essay with like a brief moment talking about how God's the villain of the story because he fucks up Job's whole entire life because he's petty and like wants somebody to like Satan's basically like, dude, if you fuck this guy's whole life up, he's not gonna like you. And God's like, nuh-uh, he'll love me forever. Pew! Kill his whole family, kill everything, give him a disease. And then Job is obviously like, dude, I fucking hate you. Like, why would you do this to me? And then God's like, ah, fuck. I'll give him a new family. and shit.
Job's cool the whole time. Job is like, I still love you, man. You know, it's a relationship. But Job sticks with it.
For a while.
Chad, I didn't know he gives up at a certain point.
Once God gives him the like festering boils and the disease where he's like at one point he's just lying in a puddle dying of a horrible disease, and that's the point where Job's finally like, fuck it, man, this shit sucks. And then like 3 townspeople come up to tell him how great God is through poetry, and that was like sort of, we discussed like what these like sort of sonnets these people were saying about why you should love God and like what they were actually saying in these sonnets. So like 2 people do that, and then Job's still like, no, dude, I'm fucking dying in a puddle. My whole family's dead, and a tornado killed everything else. I'm like fuck this, man, fuck God. And then finally, like 3rd time around, like a little kid walks up, and he's like, hey, stop being such a fucking pussy. And then Job's like, all right. And then God gives him like a second family and like more riches than he ever had before. And that's like that's the book of Job.
That's a win. Cute Kaiju says, wait, why did the cow worshiping even begin? That's amazing. In the story, basically, Moses is up on Mount Sinai talking to God.
For like a while.
The 10 Commandments written, and it takes, like, I don't know, a week or something like that. And so everybody's like, oh, well, he's like the guy who's like leading them. They're like smack dab in the middle of the desert or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just disappears for like a month. And they're like, well, he's dead. We're fucked. They're like, and so they start worshiping a different popular god at the time. Like,
yeah. Aaron comes in, he's like, check out this fucking golden cow. And
everybody gets on board. They're like, okay, God got us here, so, golden cow time. And then they eat it.
Mm-hmm. It's true. These things all happen. In the Bible, at least, not in real life. They never happen at all because the Bible is fake. And it's all fiction. Just getting that out of the... Just gonna rip that band-aid off.
Our viewer count drops after that.
Woo! Wow, where are all these angry emails I just got? I'm getting a bunch of death threats all of a sudden. So yeah.
Got babies over here.
Fucking, I actually have never, like, I guess I saw a bunch of articles saying that they all got a plague, after the golden calf thing, but I could swear, like, when I was in Sunday school, like, I remember my teacher saying, like, yeah, Moses just killed all those dudes then, and we were like...
I don't remember that part, but, who knows, they leave certain things out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Popular book.
It's a popular book to sort of take your own interpretation of it, and,
choose your own adventure.
Yeah, it's choose your own adventure. Like, are you a sinner? No, I can't be. I'm doing what I want. Oh, okay, fuck it. Why don't you go shame other people then?
Double Rock says, gotta make the disclaimer.
Gotta make the disclaimer. You can't let people think that we're, like, when I was dating my ex, I think I've told you this story, but I'll tell it for the chat. But when I was dating my ex, on her very first date, we were talking about some stuff, and then she said something, and I was like, ah, thank the Lord. And then she was like, so, I gotta ask you. Yeah, she was like, I gotta ask. You just said thank the Lord. Are you And I was like, no, I'm not religious at all. I just say the shit. And she was like, oh, thank God. We can continue this relationship. And
Yeah.
that's a conversation you gotta have at some point. You gotta get the religious nuts out of your life.
You gotta, you know, in a nicer way of saying it, you gotta make sure you're on the same page with the other person too.
Yeah, if you're dating, it's gonna be an issue, I think.
It most likely will be.
If you're worshipping a golden calf, she's worshipping, you know, Wicca.
You never know, she might come home and make you eat the calf.
Yeah. Hey, check it out, it's creatine powder. Nope. Golden calf, baby.
That was your god.
Shit. Damn, I just finished playing God Eater too. Now I literally ate my god.
There's, I think, a Seinfeld episode where Elaine finds out, like, after a few dates that the guy she's dating is religious, and she's just like, "Aww, like, it's going so good." Like, it's just funny because she's like, not even like going over like
the pros and the cons. That's just that's a cutoff right there.
Damn. It was so good too.
It's funny too because the way he seems super chill and normal, and then like I remember that episode, and then he like gets really weird with it. I think anytime anybody shows any sort of religiousness, I start to think like, oh, that's weird. Even though I'm the abnormal one, I guess, because percentages or whatever. But I do remember that episode, and it's really funny that she's just like, she drops him right then and there. She's like not even gonna like entertain the idea. Very funny. Let's see. Z Newts in the chat says, I want to believe in God just so when I die I can punch him in the dick for giving cancer to a bunch of kids. Logic says Sky Daddy is I would probably be like, hey God, all that pediatric oncology that has to exist in the world. What the fuck? But let's talk about something else. Let's talk about something. Not like I'll shame religion all day, but whatever. Like it's not a fun thing to talk about.
You got a pink baby there.
I do. Well, it's the DrawBomb baby.
Oh, I thought maybe somebody left that baby in the sun too long, which you should not do.
Like a baby in the sun. Let me go. Why? Have you seen about that show it's on CBS now, I guess, called Ghosts?
No, tell me about Ghosts.
You have TV first and foremost.
I own a TV.
Do you have cable, I guess is the way to put it?
I do not have cable, but
okay.
There are ways to watch things. I have streaming services and various. Yeah. Tell me about Ghosts.
So it's interesting. I don't have like a lot to say about this show, but it is something I thought we could talk about briefly, or I guess I would talk about it extra briefly. But it's like a show. It's on CBS right now. There's an American version, and then it's actually based on a British show that's actually still running, which is the thing I did not know was the case. Cute Kaiju is our new best friend. Oh, thank you so much for following us, Cute Kaiju. Much appreciated.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Especially after we just shat on religion for a while. I'm going to assume that means that you weren't offended by the previous conversation we just had, and we appreciate you sticking around. Ghosts. British show. It's actually still running. They've finished their 3rd season. They've been shooting their 4th season, and then COVID sort of, put a delay on that, like it put a delay on everything. But the premise of the show is this couple, their great aunt dies, or the one lady's great aunt dies, so they move in, they get her house as an inheritance, and so they move into the house. It's awful. It's like a big Victorian era house, and it's lavish, and it's expensive, and like the property taxes are through the roof, and they have nothing to do with it, but they decide they're going to open it and like turn it into a hotel or a bed and breakfast or whatever they can do, because like they need money. And then like the first day they're checking out the house, lady like slips on something, has a horrible fall, and she dies for a couple minutes, and then she goes to the hospital, and then she comes back and she learns that she can see ghosts now because she's been dead for a little bit. And like there's a bunch of ghosts that have been living in the house There's like in the British version, it's like different. The characters are slightly different in the British version and the American version, but I'll sort of get into those differences later. Anyways, she can see ghosts and she can talk to the ghosts, and her husband can't, so she has to like sort of translate the ghosts to her husband, and that's the show. Because they're just trying to get the house set up for something, and then the ghosts are there, and it's a comedy because the ghosts are dead, and like things happen, and it's a lot of fun. So the CBS version is interesting because I don't actually, like, normally there's like a version I prefer one over the other, but there are pros and cons to, I think, both. I found out about the British version because of Red Letter Media. They talked about it in like one of their most recent Half in the Bags, like they were doing a recap, and he's just like, oh yeah, I've been watching Ghosts, because Mike on Red Letter Media loves Ghosts, so of course he's interested. But so the British version is funny, and it's like they both have like a dude who died from the 80s who's not wearing any pants, and he's got like a tux top. In the British version, he was an old prime minister who was caught in a sex scandal. In the American version, he's like an 80s like Wall Street guy, like from the movie Wall Street, essentially. In the British version, there's a caveman. In the American version, there's a Native American. And there's a Viking in the American version. In the British version, that might be the caveman. I'm not sure who the sort of facsimile or the sort of surrogate the Native American guy is in the American. The point is, there's like most of the ghosts are the same, but a couple are different. Like there's a sort of like Louisiana, like there's like a black woman who looks like she's dressed like she's from like the Louisiana period of like the early like France owning Louisiana. And then in the British version, she's basically the same character, but she's like Georgian time, like under King George, like 1 through 5. And then there's like in both versions, there's like a Boy Scout guy who's got an arrow through his neck because he got shot through the neck with an arrow. Anyways, the point is, it's fun, but it's like the British version is different in presentation and in another, like aside from like the characters being different, it's different in a number of ways from the American version. And it's interesting because I like aspects of the British version a lot, but there's also aspects of the American version that I really appreciate, which is surprising because normally it's just like a clear cut, like the American version sucks, British version's good. But the main differences I can think of is like presentation. In the British version, they're not afraid to be spooky sometimes, and like they sort of like play that up in the very beginning when she's first seeing the ghost. They kind of make it a little scarier because she's seeing ghosts. But in the the presentation is a bit more dry, but the American version has all of like these like sort of like violin plucky like backdrop things to let you know you're watching like those like sitcom sort of sound effects or like the music that they have where it's like blum 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 blum. Oh, something wacky's happening. The CBS version has a lot more of that, whereas the British versions like doesn't have that going on. It's a lot more dry. The CBS version wants you to know you're watching a sitcom. In the British version, the husband's just a fucking dumbass. And in both versions, I feel like I should bring this up. I don't think there's any relevance beyond this point. In both versions, it's a white woman for the wife. She's the one who can see the ghosts, and in the husband is a different race. In the British version, he's just a black guy. In the American version, he's I think he's like Pakistani or something like that, but he's much less stupid in the American version than in the British version. Like in the British version, he's just like fucking shit up. He's just like, he's being jealous. He's kind of a useless character. He's just there to sort of like if he's sort of, the ghosts are the comic relief really, because the ghosts are always like, they'll be like watching a movie and the ghost will be like, oh my goodness, what is this disc you are using, or something like that's the humor of the show, is the differences in time.
More caveman ghosts in real life.
I know, right? I want more caveman ghosts. They have an
not have unfinished business.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, there's like unfinished business stuff going on in the show. There's like rules that they have to follow. that sort of like sets up why things are the way they are, and et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, in like the British version, the husband's just kind of useless. He's there to like cause problems, or like when the wife is acting goofy because like ghosts are talking to her and she can't quite like separate real life from the ghost life quite in the beginning of the show, the husband's there to sort of be like, hey, let's take you over to the circuit breakers, show you around. And then she's like, I'm gonna go have an argument with the ghosts now. And the American version, he's much less bumbling and he's just more of a nerd, which I think is a better character because it's a less useless character. And I do enjoy that aspect. In most situations, though, the British version is, I think, better, but I also haven't seen as much of the American version. That's my thoughts on the show!
Do you give a recommend for Ghost?
Yeah, both versions. Fuck it. I don't care. Watch it. I don't, it's on HBO Max for the BBC version. Like, the HBO has the BBC version. Give that a watch. Check out the American version. It's still not annoying. I still laugh at it. There's like jokes in it. Like it's basically the same show, at least for a little bit. The American version is. I'm assuming it differentiates more as it continues, but I haven't seen enough of either version to make a conclusive statement on that. But yeah, they're both fine. There are jokes that are clearly specific to the American version because there are different ghosts. Some of the ghosts are a little bit different. But
How about
overall.
Real Ghosts? Do you recommend those?
A what?
How about Real Ghosts? Do you recommend those?
God, I would love for real ghosts to exist. Do you believe in ghosts?
I'm a skeptic.
Okay. Me too. I don't fucking believe in shit.
I've heard a lot of good stories, but I've never witnessed anything myself, and I feel like for something like that, it's gonna make me rethink everything I think I know about
Yeah.
the world and life and death. I should probably see it myself instead of just hear a good story. That's the thing. It's not that I think the people that tell me are like liars. It has to be. It's like. It's so out there that I'm like, I've got to see that myself, or else I just can't believe that.
I just, every time I've seen somebody be like, oh, here's proof of ghosts, I've been like, no, that's not. That's clearly this. I'm like, and it's never worked. Like, or like, also, video is so easy to fake too nowadays. Like, you can't show me a video, I have to see it. Otherwise, like.
There's people I trust a lot who believe they've seen ghosts or believe in them. And, yeah, so I don't know. I just need to see that myself.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's a smart way to do it.
Yeah, I don't want to shit on everyone who believes in them. I personally need to see it myself.
I think it'd be cool if ghosts exist because then I'd be like, oh, well, that's something you do after you die.
Right.
But
speaking of that, Fellow Rocket just wrote, I'd like an afterlife so I could see my cat. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, is like, I've heard people who like, you're not religious, well don't you want like, heaven and all that stuff. It's like, yeah, well that sounds great. I'm not saying that I think it would suck. I'm not like hoping it's not true. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Well, if there isn't an afterlife, you can take solace in knowing that both you and your cat's energy will go back into the pool.
Yeah, back into the life stream until Shinra uses it to power their machinations, and then Cloud Strife and his gang of Avalanche will have to take down Shinra. But that's a whole thing, you can worry about that much later. Yeah.
And then there's ultimate heat death later on, but that's a whole nother...
That's a whole other thing to worry about.
I don't need to get into that right now.
Yeah, the heat death of the universe and et cetera, et cetera. Balbo Rocket says, I don't feel like I really need to watch it now. That's fine. It's a show about death, and they do talk about it. And they talk about, like... They're like the ghosts in the show, especially like in both versions, but like in the British version, it plays out a little differently as time goes on. But again, I don't know too much about it. But like in the British version, there is an episode where like the caveman ghost is like sad because it's like a lunar eclipse is happening, and then the one ghost who's got the arrow through his neck is like, hey man, like why does the moon like make you so sad when it's a lunar eclipse? And the guy's like, I'm a caveman, like literally like this entire place is not what it's been forever, like 300 years. Like I've seen this place change constantly, but the moon's always there. And it's like, oh, that's sweet. I kind of get that. That's cool. So it's like they have these interesting ways of injecting these ghosts with like emotions and sort of giving you a tether to them emotionally, but it is a show still about like, hey, you're gonna die eventually. Here are some ghosts. These ghosts also have seen time pass for thousands of years, and that's it, you know.
Does the caveman talk that way? Like,
I'm
a simple caveman.
Sort of. The caveman.
I don't know about the moon and the sky. I just there's an old Phil Hartman SNL sketch. Caveman lawyer.
Caveman lawyer.
Nothing about him besides the fact that he looks like a caveman. Like, basically, it does this preface of, like, he was melted out of a block of ice and now he's a lawyer. And then nothing about him resembles a caveman except his face looks like a caveman, that's it. But he's, like, wearing a suit.
It's such a great concept for a sketch.
Super competent. He's, like, a super competent lawyer, and then whenever he's making his closing arguments, he's always just like, look, when I see a car, I think it's a giant metal beast. I don't know what these things are. I'm just a caveman. But he, like,
it's
talks
so
like
good.
It's great. It's one of my favorites.
It's such a brilliant idea for a sketch. So like the caveman in the British version, he talk like this. He like, hey, me caveman, you watch Friends on TV. Like he knows about modern things, but he still sort of talks like that. There's like a British woman who like died of a plague, and she's like, oh, what's all this then? There's a really funny episode where they're shooting a TV show in their Victorian mansion, and so like at the beginning she's like, oh, the souls are coming up on the picture box. And then like the last like when they're like by the end of the episode they're like filming, and then she's just like, I think if we really pushed in we could really show the emotion, you know, of this scene right here. And like by the end of the episode she's like a genius of like filming. It's hilarious.
I'm like, that's got to get old if the characters every episode are like, somebody makes like toast in a toaster and they're like, what the heck is this? It's like, all right, can we get past that?
Yeah, no, it's like
they know the things in the house.
Yeah, they like the ghosts teach each other, like the ghosts learn, and like the ghosts learn from the people, they learn from each other, so it's like the ghosts are not stagnant characters, which I think is also a really effective thing about the show, is like the ghosts do progress and evolve as like they continue, which is a cool aspect also. Like there's a lot of things at the show. It's a solid premise for a show, it's a very smart idea for a show, and it's just they hit a lot of the right notes. Like it's emotional at times, it's very funny. The characters are enjoyable. A lot of variety in the ghosts. It's cool. I like what they do with it. So like the caveman, he's like, oh, me caveman, but me know what Friends is on DVD. And in the American version, there's no caveman. There is a Viking, and he's like talking like a Viking, but he says like, he's like, oh, why don't Ross and Rachel get together then? And then like there's a Native American, and he just talks like a normal guy. Like he does no accent whatsoever.
Solid move on the creators of the show. Good work.
It's a good move, and like it's funny because at one point he's like, "Oh yeah, no, this is a Halloween costume," and they're like, "Really?" He's like, "No, I'm fucking with you. It's just like I've just been here longer than you." Yeah, so it's they do a lot of things right. It's interesting, and I think this is purely because of cultural differences, but the British Prime Minister character is basically the same as the 80s Wall Street bro, but I like the 80s Wall Street bro character more. I think he's funnier, and they pull a lot more humor from him. In the British version, the Prime Minister, he's kind of a pervert. He like fulfills a lot of the same character attributes, but he's also used to be a politician, so like he's very prim and proper, and he's like, oh, I know I've been to some crazy orgies, but also like, you know, I know things about politics. Whereas in the American version, like the Wall Street bro, he's a fucking Wall Street bro. So like I feel like that's descriptive enough, and he fits all those characteristics, and so his character is basically the same character, but it's different enough where it feels like a different character, and I actually like the Wall Street bro as a character more because he also sort of has these moments of like self-improvement, which is interesting. But also there's like some really funny moments, like there's a character who in the show he says like, I'm just gonna be evil forever, and then he just immediately goes to hell. And like one character told him to go to hell right before that, and then they're like, oh my god, did you send this guy to hell? And she's like, I don't know, let me try again. Go to hell. And she points to the Wall Street Bro, and the Wall Street Bro is like, dude, why me? Why would you do that? And it's a very funny moment, and it's like you wouldn't get the same reaction from the Prime Minister character, and just his general character I think is douchier and slimier, but I think it's a more satisfying character to watch learn life lessons and grow, and he's kind of got some more humor packed into his sort of persona. Go. Watch either version. British version's on HBO. Pretty sure the American version's on Paramount. Yeah, if it's a show you might watch, go for it. If you don't like it, I get it. The American version, it does have those sitcom violin plucks, and that part annoys me because I'm just like, you don't have to remind me I'm watching a sitcom every time. And thankfully, neither show is a laugh track show, so that's good.
I hadn't heard of it before today, so I feel like I know so much about ghosts now.
It was interesting. It was like a show. We like whenever it's like a certain time of the day, especially after dinner time, I like to sit down with the family. We just hang out, watch TV. I live with them. I might as well spend some time with them, right? Can you blame me?
It's the right move.
Yeah. So then the one time we were hanging out, and then the first episode of the American version of Ghosts came on, and we were like, what is this? And Mom was like, oh, it's a new show. I thought we'd give it a shot. And we did. And like the first couple episodes that set up like the premise, it takes about 2 episodes for her to like finally start seeing the ghosts. But like the first 2 episodes were like solid, but literally the exact same as the British version, it turned out. But it was entertaining enough, but like I didn't really see any reason. Like I was like, oh, this might be fun to kind of keep up with occasionally. But like our dad apparently really took a shine to the show, so he was watching it. And then the one night I was watching it with him, and it was like later episodes in the American version, and I was just like, oh, this show is shaping up pretty nicely. They're really finding their footing, I think. Which is when I watched the Red Letter Media review, we found out about the British version, so we've been basically keeping up with both at the same time now at this point. But yeah, that's how I found out about it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Patrick Swayze version
of Ghost?
Yeah.
I wish his arms were wrapped around my body.
Making clay pots.
Yeah.
In general.
Just in general. I want him to dirty dance with me.
There's not a lot of dirty dancing in Ghost. More
no,
like
there's
Ghost type shit.
Yeah. Is there a lot of dirty dancing in Dirty Dancing?
Yeah.
When they say dirty dancing, like, do they mean like rubbing crotches against each other, or like how do they
Not
like?
really.
What's dirty dancing? I haven't seen the movie, so I have no idea.
They're like basically they're always like rich kids at some like I don't know if it's like I forget, but anyways, it's like all these families and it's like they're like ball dancing and shit, and like they're all rich and hoity-toity, and then they in the back room they're like the kids are like having fun and dancing.
Like swing dancing?
Yeah, but it's like actually like it's not really that like there's nothing like obscene
dirty
about it really.
Right.
I mean, maybe at the time.
Yeah, that's what I assume. Is I assume it.
You just be like, wow, they're good dancers. That's about
yeah.
it.
Like that's the thing is like when I think of Dirty Dancing, I haven't seen it, but in my mind, I picture dancing that's maybe a bit sensuous and like romantic, but nothing particularly dirty. But like if you look at like there's like that scene in Grease where they all had like the dance contest, and like they're supposed to not like grind up against each other. They're not supposed to like throw each other through the legs. That's like a little bit dirtier. But then I think of like high school dances where like it was just like, okay, put your dick on her leg and then rub up and down for like the rap song, and it was just like, this is weird. And that's
There's
like
not much grinding in Dirty Dancing, you know.
Yeah, grinding.
If there is, it's way more choreographed.
Yeah, grinding strikes me as much dirtier dance. Like I've done dirtier dancing than what I imagine is
dirtiest dancing.
Dirty dancing.
Z-Newt says dirty dancing is when you wait 3.5 days between showers. No
That's a
bidets
callback.
allowed. It is.
That's a callback.
Yeah. So you know, She falls in love with the guy who's like teaching her how to dance.
And she's Ferris Bueller's brother.
Yeah, no.
In the movie. Or sister, I'm sorry.
Yeah. And then, it's like a Romeo and Juliet thing. You can't be dancing this dirty! But I love him! And,
my pearls!
yeah.
Why would I clutch my pearls so? Why did we draw a bunch of babies?
We were talking about babies, and then I just...
You went wild.
Oh, God.
You really went to town on these babies. That doesn't sound right. You really...
Yeah, let's
Hammered-
not quote that.
Wait. You really
Not that deep.
drew a lot of babies.
I sure did.
Is this one face planting?
Balancing on its face. It's a talented baby.
I'm gonna make some additions to this drawing real quick for us. There we go. That's an improvement already. Are there any games on your radar or anything like that?
There's one that just came out that I feel like I'm not gonna be good enough to play, but it looks cool. It's called Seafood. It's like, I forget what the other game they made was. It wasn't as popular, but the mechanics were.
Is that the fighting game one? Like where you
It's like
Absolver?
Absolver was the one they made, but this one is like their newer one.
Okay.
And I think they probably took what they came up with from the previous one and fleshed it out more.
Yeah,
But
expanded upon.
yeah, it's supposed to be really fighting's supposed to feel really good, and it's a really cool story. Somebody kills your dad. And then there's this cool mechanic that every time you die, you age a little bit. And so if you die too many times, you're like old and your health goes down. You get better fighting, but your health goes down. I don't know, it's just like
Interesting. I never heard of
It
that
looks
mechanic.
really cool.
Yeah.
No, I've never heard of that either. But it looks pretty cool. And I imagine it'll be one of those things like a Souls game where I'm like, this looks fun, and then I play it, and I'm like, getting pummeled. And
Yeah, that sounds
I'm
good.
getting,
So you're playing Sifu right now?
No, I was just on my radar. I think.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
I
I actually saw somebody on Twitch earlier today, and they were streaming Sifu. I didn't join the stream, but the preview image I saw, they were in a level of some kind that was clearly just the corridor from the corridor fight scene from Old Boy, and I was like, cool. That's all I know.
Yeah, I might after this stream. I might pop to Sundays and just watch it.
Yeah. I've heard Absolver is good. I want to play Absolver because Absolver, the fighting system, looks like it's at least very heavily inspired by God Hand, which is a game I have ranted and raved to you about plenty. I've probably
never heard of it. You played God Hand?
Oh yeah, you want to talk about God Hand forever?
No.
Yeah, please don't. I will go on. But play
But
God
you have more
Hand.
to say about Ghosts?
No, I have nothing more to say about that show. It's enjoyable. I like it. I like both versions of it. I'm a basic bitch. Absolver, yeah, seems cool. God Hand is dope if you have a chance to play God Hand. I'm still pissed off that they never added God Hand to the PlayStation Store for download after the PS3. Like, I tried. I've told you this already. I've told the chat this already. I tried to download God Hand on your PlayStation from my account. Just can't. It's not on the PlayStation Store unless you have a PlayStation 3. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to make it easy.
Yeah. They don't want you to play good games.
Any games on your radar?
No. I don't pay attention to, like, I guess Elden Ring and the new Stalker.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, like, I don't make a lot of money right now. I'm trying not to spend my cash, so
Yeah.
I don't have any consoles. So I just like we hung out and we watched E3, like you, me, and Austin. I'm pretty sure on the Discord. We just kind of like talked about that. But otherwise, I don't know. Unless it's on Game Pass, I'm not gonna be getting, or somebody gifts it to me. I'm not gonna get anything new for a while, so I don't pay attention, because then that's just like me going like, oh boy, I can't wait to play this game I can't play.
Well, you're fortunate that Games Pass has a million things to play, and you have a huge collection that you still haven't played, and
yeah, I'm sort of taking solace in that.
Games through Steam, so that's cool.
Yeah, I actually need
you
to
have anything to plug, Ian?
Well, sorry guys, wrong button. I have nothing to plug off the top of my head.
Just said you have anything to plug, and then just off air.
Yeah, that's it. We're done. Nothing to plug. No, I have nothing to plug. I really don't. Nothing's coming out. Like, I've talked about the other things that are coming out, but they're still not out. It feels dumb to talk about them when they're not coming out yet.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't really have anything to plug either, honestly.
I do something every Monday.
You do?
I do. Poo poo. Pee pee poo poo. I do this
Monday.
Every Monday around 8 p.m. Eastern time. I sort of do this like dumb stream. It's not very cool. Where I hang out with my friend Brandon and we talk and we draw for about 2 hours.
That's a coincidence, because every Monday at 8 I do a stream as well, but mine is very cool. It's the same concept.
I should figure out what your stream's doing and adjust mine accordingly.
Yeah, well, keep your eyes on your own work, please.
Can't all be winners, I guess.
Znewts real quick in the chat said, too many NFT nonsense with game industry recently. Which brings me to our one thing we do have to plug. DrawBomb NFTs coming out soon.
That's right. Beer.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we don't, we don't have any of those.
Oh, NFTs. But thanks everybody for tuning in this episode. We had Znewts, Bell Rocket, Matty F. We had Q Kaiju. Thanks for joining us for the first time. Hope you come back. Crazy Kyle.
Karen, what was her name? Like Lonely Karen or...
No, it was Lovely Karen.
Lovely Karen. I was one letter off, okay.
Very different.
Very different words, yeah.
Vampleb, Znewts, I think I already said.
Matty F was there, Bell Rocket, Extra Attack popped in, Crazy Kyle was there for a little bit.
Wow, so many friends.
So many pals.
I
I have one more change to make this drawing, and then I'm all done.
Okay.
But
I do see Matty F is streaming, and we should probably throw our
rate him.
Host over. Yeah, we only have I think 3 of us, but still, he deserves it. Oh God, would you tie up the baby?
It's getting dragged.
I said it's blue makes that one uncomfortable for me.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
No, it's alright. It's alright. Okay.
There's green ones. It's fine.
Yeah, there's all different colors of babies. See,
yeah.
Rainbow babies.
I like how we all gave him like the little twisty hair.
Yeah.
The curly Q, I guess is what they call it. But
Big
folks,
hair.
Yeah, kid hair, child hair. Folks, thank you all so much for joining us. Thanks for the stream, says Bell Rocket. Well, no, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Viewers like you at home. Leave a donation and your tote bag will be delivered one day, probably. No promises there.
Someday soon.
Yeah, we're still working on the tote bags, but yeah. Anyways, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.